welcome the boss of the AFL, Andrew Demetriou, into the box. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, James.
How are you going?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I've just been researching all the nicknames before I came in. As part of my weekly sort of ritual.
Right.
You got them down pat, haven't you?
I didn't realise haircut was Timsy.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
Haircut was Timsy.
I saw him during the week. He came down to my daughter's school to take a bit of. He wrote the story. The photographer came, who called me Alex.
Do you know why he's called haircut?
No.
Spud?
He cuts his fringe with a spirit level.
It is true though.
It's a helmet like,
was at St Catherine's School, all the girls going for junior joggers, and the photographer got up on top of the balcony. Patrick Keane was there, and had all the kids down there, and they all throwing all that footy colours on for their run. And then they said, we need to get the girl's father in, and so he called Alex. Alex, come over here and get your photo taken.
He thought Alex Demetriou.
Dude, mate, yeah. Who's Warrior?
That's the purple-headed
Warrior. What's that about?
Puts a purple rinse through his hair.
Yeah.
Down in Tassie a couple of years ago.
And I've got Lone Wolf.
Yeah, no, we don't know. We don't talk about him.
Gary called himself the lone wolf. He said he's a one-man wolf pack.
Do you talk in the third person?
No,
Yes, he does.
No, I do not.
Does?
Andrew, he goes to supermarkets with a hoodie on and sunglasses, so no one
Don't
knows.
get
We don't get access to the CEO too often, so perhaps let's delve into what he's here for at some stage.
Well, you can't get access to this venue because of Victorian cricket issues over the needing to keep it free for the potential of the state team making the Sheffield Shield final. I know it's been a bugbear for a long time. Have you made any progress at all on moving that situation?
No, not really. I mean, from our perspective, we respect the contractual obligation, so we respect the view that we can't get access and we don't breach contracts. So what we'll do is we'll try and work around it. So,
but how can you work around it?
Well, look. First of all, I agree with Richmond and Carlton that the ideal venue for that game is to be played here. So the simple choice is we either play it at Etihad and sell it out, or they wait until round two or three, and that seems pretty simple. But we can get some very good games away, and I'd have no hesitation having 3 cracking games over those 3 days.
And has cricket told you it just will not move this schedule of this?
They have to. Look, our fixture comes out in October. We put our games in the system. They have to reserve the ground in the event that they make the Sheffield Shield final. Unfortunately, they don't know that until well into sort of January, February. So the ground's not available, and they need.
Could you provide a solution for them on that?
No, but they've told us that they need and I respect this. They need a first-class venue to host the final, Damien.
Well, could you offer them Etihad Stadium, for instance?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that, but yes, we could. I mean, Etihad Stadium is a first-class venue. I mean, they've played cricket there before. If they wanted to play there, we'd make it available for them, and we could play here. I mean, that's a pretty sensible solution.
It's a cost factor involved with all of that.
I think the cost of putting and dropping pitches would easily be compensated for by big crowds here, Gary.
Would you pick the bill up for putting the
drop? I think we would.
Mighty benevolent of you.
Well, I mean, if we can get 3 games of 80 to 85,000, maybe we'd even go to the MCC and get them to help co-fund it, Gary.
What's the average?
That's a good idea. Damien, might have a job for you after this.
But I mean,
I'm surprised I hadn't thought of it first.
Look, the cricket. I mean, we all love cricket in this box, but it gets 2,000 people at best, even if it was a Sheffield Shield final. You don't reckon it's that many?
What's the average crowd?
No.
Well, I'm talking about a Sheffield Shield final. They would get 2,000, maybe 3,000 on a nice day. But so just to back over that, the AFL would have no dramas in giving cricket access to Etihad Stadium if that was a solution.
Look, they've played cricket before.
Not Sheffield Shield cricket.
Oh, they've played Test cricket. I mean, not Test. They played one days. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That would be putting a cricket hat on. That would be the only issue is to guarantee the surface, because it's a very big difference between a drop-in pitch lasting 40 overs in a 2020 game and lasting 5 days. So that would be their only concern. Otherwise, the venue, because the Renegades play there, and it is fantastic for cricket. So there's no other concern.
Guaranteed roof on, guaranteed 5 good days of cricket. I think it's a great idea.
Compromise is what we should all
Triple
be
M
about.
solution.
I think we can go.
We come up with solutions here, Andrew. Nice to see you, by the way. We saw you last Saturday morning for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that we caught up with each other, Andrew. How can they not know that? We sat at a breakfast table for an hour and a half.
And we did. We enjoyed a very nice breakfast at Cube, at Peppers. Give it a plug. We've given icebergs a plug all week.
That's it.
And we did. We had a very enjoyable breakfast. And in fact, I'm glad that a lot of the topics we discussed last week didn't make its way to Robbo. Because we'd been diabolical strife.
When's a private meeting a private meeting? Secret meeting.
Well, probably when you don't talk to Grant Thomas, or that you don't have a dinner at Icebergs.
Well, just on that, I mean, obviously you had breakfast with James.
That'll get a run.
You had breakfast with James Brayshaw last week, so therefore you knew he was in Launceston.
No, I knew.
Unless you hadn't
I knew.
detected.
I knew. The only thing I didn't know last week, which I've said to James, is that I didn't realise until after the event that James doesn't call games involving North Melbourne. So I did have breakfast and I went along to the function assuming that James was calling games.
So reading the Age today, that Sam Kekovich, he hasn't had a cup of tea with you just to get the lay of the land, because I'm reading the big paper here. And
look, I saw Sam the other day. He was in the office doing something, whatever he was doing. He was passing through, and we had a quick 5-minute chat and we had a bit of a laugh. And normally when I talk to Sam, he makes me laugh, and that was the extent of the conversation. It wasn't anything about whatever. I don't know. You have to ask the journalist who's written that story.
And Gil McLaughlin, you've put his stamp of approval as he's not sort of making.
Look, you can only put up with him parking in my car spot and sitting in my chair so often. You got to succumb at some stage.
Is that a commission decision
No.
over?
I was asked yesterday about do you, in part of your role, is it your role to develop people? The answer is yes. And any CEO in any organisation, you are obligated to have a succession plan. Otherwise, you're not doing your job. And I've made no secret that we've got some very talented people. And, of course, Gil is the 2IC, done an outstanding job, and he's earned the right to be considered. But it is a commission decision, and that's how it should be. And he'll have to go through a process. But he's got a lot of ticks and a lot of positives, and he certainly knows how highly I value him, and he's got a lot of support.
Now, Andrew, just as we let you go, we've noticed and heard a lot this week about icebergs and about the quality of the wine served. So, as a Triple M team, we'd like a piece of that. At any stage, we can, with you.
Well, after the breakfast,
Gil,
we had, I don't see any reason why we couldn't go to icebergs, and I guarantee you we're going to be looked after.
No doubt.
We're up there next week, Joe.
If you had the choice of all the radio boxes to have lunch with or dinner with, which one would you go?
Absolutely after the breakfast.
We kept that conversation where it was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing leaked out of that.
You did. Well, there's no doubt about that. But I did hear. I've got to say, you did heavy me a bit that morning. As I was munching into my sort of bacon and eggs. You asked me that the same question 9 times. After the first 4, take it easy, Dave.
Andrew, does he look like a warrior to you?
No.
Thank you.
Very nice to catch up with you. Thanks very much for dropping by.
All the best.
Damo, you did well there with the Etihad. You did. Give me a compliment, mate, because to me that makes sense. If
So just go over it again, Warrior.
Talk us through it.
The problem, as we've known for many years now, is AFL getting access to the MCG for cricket contractual reasons, and the MCG can't get away with it either. What Andrew Demetriou has mooted there and offered there to the cricket bodies is the right to use Etihad Stadium at that time of year, which would free up the MCG
So if they
for
make the
football
Shield
purposes.
final,
If they make the Shield final,
played at the at Etihad Stadium,
and I think he actually offered to even pay for
Said he'd pay for the
drop-in pitches. So the problem too, you don't know. Victoria won't know if it's playing in the Shield final until sometimes 2 weeks before the cricket season finishes. So the ground has to be kept vacant for that very reason. But as we've seen, it often isn't used at that time of year. So here it would be a solution: use Etihad Stadium for the cricket Shield final if it eventuates, which frees up the MCG
We'll pay for the
maybe
pitch.
even a month earlier than it already is.
yeah, negotiate a great deal because the footy want the MCG. You've already got the offer of the pitches.
All problems solved, Gary.
I reckon little Jay-Z is out there and Mickey Gleeson there.
Haircut.
The surface,
Ding, 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 ding. Right,
as
that one down.
don't like to say this, Damo, of course, but there's a man who's played in 3 Shield finals. In fact, it might have been 4. The only issue
What was
is
your biggest crowd?
Yeah, the only issue is the quality of the surface.
We don't want the negatives, JB. We're just pumping
Well,
this issue up.
I know, but you do need to have a surface that'll last 5 days. It is incumbent on whoever hosts the Shield final.
They drop in pitches that last for 5 days.
Don't know. The ones they put in here, they put in at the start of the season and work on all year to make sure it'll last a test match. Whereas Eddie had their one.
Well, you
they
pull them
played
out of
20
here.
games.
You pull them out of here and
It's not as easy to do that.
Well, it will be on this occasion, JB.
Look at you.
We'll stick him at the Junction Oval.
I reckon that's the better solution. But
stick a Shield final at Joe? They had to do that once.
They did do it once, and you know what? There was a community atmosphere there. Probably more people went that particular year than they would come here.
And more coverage and a greater sense of occasion than coming to a 100,000 venue with 4,000 people there.
I think there should be a solution. The two parties have got to come together. There's no way they can not.